Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. In this moment, I would like to explain about questionnaire. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Siti, Maryam. I'm from 5BB class, major English department in State Polytechnic of Sriwijaya. Okay, let's begin. The first material is about what is a questionnaire. A questionnaire is a research device or instrument that is made up of a series of questions which are closed-ended or open-ended. The goal is to collect relevant data from respondents, which can then be used for a variety of purposes. When you give the respondent the ability to give you a longer answer, it can yield more insight because they can elaborate on data. Is what is questionnaire or a definition of questionnaire in research. Okay, next is type of questionnaire. As you know that questionnaire have types or the kind of questionnaire. The first kind of questionnaire or the first type of questionnaire is exploratory questionnaire or qualitative. These are also known as unstructured questionnaire. They are used to collect qualitative data, which is information that can be observed and recorded but is not numerical in nature. It's used to approximate and characterize. An example of qualitative data will be someone giving you feedback about your writing. They may mention things about the tone, clarity, word choice, etc. It helps you categorize your writing, but you cannot attach a number to the feedback. Exploratory questionnaires are ideal when you are in the early stages and want to learn more about a topic before designing a solution or hypothesis. For example, if you are in the early stage of product development and don't know enough about the market, then exploratory questionnaires are ideal for you. And the next type of questionnaire is formal standardized questionnaire or quantitative. They are also known as structured questionnaire. These ones are used to collect quantitative data, which is information recorded as a count or numerical value. The data is quantifiable, which means it can be used for mathematical calculation or statistical analysis. In essence, it answers the question of how much, how many, or how often. An example of quantitative data would be the answer to the following questions, like how old are you? You can answer this question, I am 17 years old, or same as me, I am 19 years old. It's quantitative data, which require a numerical reply. Standardized questionnaires are best used when you have already formed an initial hypothesis or built out a prototype for a product. You will use it to stress test your assumption, design, use cases, and etc. Before getting the question, you ask are narrow in scope and source specific information. Just as important as the questionnaire type are the question types you choose. The previous one, we have talked about the type of questionnaire. In here, I will talk about questionnaire question type. It's the type of question in questionnaire. The first one is open-ended questions. Have you ever filled the questionnaire in open-ended question? Or you don't know what is open-ended questions? So definition of open-ended questions is these questions are open for the respondent to answer with more freedom. Instead of presenting a series of answer choices, the respondent writes as much or as little as they want. This is ideal for explanatory questionnaires with qualitative data. You can look here the example of open-ended questions. Like the first example is, why do you think competitive market research is important before launching a new business? You can answer this question in your opinion, your own opinion. It's qualitative data, without numerical or without you count about the data. It's open-ended questions. Ask about opinion and not numerical. Okay, next type of question in questionnaire is multiple choice questions. For me, in my opinion, if I fill the questionnaire, I really like multiple choice questions because I just click the one of the option. So the definition of multiple choice questions is these questions present the respondent with a list of answer options and they can select one or more. The challenge with multiple choice questions is providing incomplete answer option. For example, here is how often do you conduct surveys? You have to choose one of the options. Just click the one of the option. You need them to give your more explanation or about your opinion and something like that. You just click the one of the option. It's easy, right? That's why I really like multiple choice in questionnaire. Okay, next is dichotomous questions. Have you ever heard about dichotomous questions? Actually, I never heard about dichotomous before I study or I learned about this questionnaire, this method-based questionnaire. So the definition of dichotomous questions is a question with only two possible answers. It tends to be a yes or no question, but it can also be something like agree or disagree or true or false. Use this when all you need is basic validation without going too deeply into the motivations. Well, I give you an example here, like have you ever smoked marijuana? You just say yes or no. And here there is a continue questions from the first question. Like if you say yes, about how many times have you smoked marijuana? You just have to choose one of them. So in conclusion, dichotomous question is yes or no questions, or agree disagree question, or true or false questions is dichotomous questions. I think you have ever known about this before, but you don't know about the name dichotomous or the definition of dichotomous before. The next is scaled questions. Scaled questions are common in questionnaire and are often used to judge the degree of a feeling. This can be used in both explanatory or standardized questionnaire because there are many different types of scaled questions, such as rating scale, Likert scale, semantic differential scale. You can look at the example here. How satisfied or dissatisfied are you with the following? Here, in the first question is the interaction with the sales staff. As a definition of scaled questions, you have to use your own feeling to answer this questionnaire. Based on this example, you have to choose very satisfied, neither satisfied or not satisfied, dissatisfied, very satisfied, very dissatisfied. It's scaled question. You have to choose one that is based on your own feeling. So this scaled question, scaled. And next is pictorial questions. As we know, based on the name pictorial, you can imagine that it's like a picture. So the definition of pictorial questions is the final type of question Use in questionnaire subtitles text for images. Images. Use image or picture. It's pictorial questions. Respondents are asked the questions and show picture to choose from. It usually has a higher respondent rate than other question types. You can look at the picture or look at the example of pictorial questions. You have to choose one of them, some as a scale question or multiple choice question too. You have to choose one of them. Okay, next. Okay, here I give you some tips of a few question types to avoid. So you have to avoid a few of these questions. The first one is hypothetical questions, or ask a respondent what they would do, think, or feel about these questions that may happen in the future. It's asking people to talk about their future actions and behavior which were notoriously better. This kind of question may give you the data that cannot be used or will skew your overall understanding of the topic. So you have to avoid hypothetical questions. And the next is embarrassing or offensive. Even though questionnaire can be anonymous, it's not a good idea to embarrass or offend the respondent. It may lead to them dropping the questionnaire without completing it or giving you poor answer on purpose. Neither one is a good scenario. So you have to avoid embarrassing or offensive. And the last is extreme positive or negative. You don't want to bias your respondent before they have had a chance to form their own opinion on the topic. If a question is presented as extremely positive or negative, then it may create a bias that should always be avoided. In the end, your data will be skewed. So you have to avoid extreme positive or negative. Okay friends, I think enough for my explanation. I hope it can be benefit for you and on your future too. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye.